Hey, church family. My name is John Michael Cabot. I'm a member of the First United Methodist Church of Lutz. As you continue on your series this week, The Walk, the theme is sharing your faith. It's interesting. Sharing is one of the hardest lessons we learn in life. I should know. I have two daughters, 3 and 5 years old. Put them in a room together and learn pretty quickly. It's not something that's innate in us. It's ironic that as we become adults, for many of us, sharing doesn't become any easier. Whether it's our faith, or our time, our tithes, our talents, it's difficult for us. I wonder why that is. I'd like to share a story with you all about the power of what God can do. See, I believe in a God that multiplies. Look no further than the parable of feeding the 5,000. See, several years ago, our church had sent a team down to Cuba. Our sister church is in a small town called El Bon. The village has about 2,000 people. And I felt the Holy Spirit lay upon my wife and I to send a small amount of money. Nothing significant. But we instructed the team that, hey, we're going to give each of you a part of this. And for each person, when you see the Holy Spirit lead you, we want you to leave that money in Cuba for whatever you think its best purpose would be. And we were surprised to learn that several of the group put their money together and they created a fund to help people. They called it the Beatrice Fund. That was a great reward to hear about what they had decided to do with the money. And the moral of the story is not about the reward or what's in it for us, but you see, 3 years later, I had the opportunity to go back and visit the El Bon Church myself. We'd spent the day traveling from mission to mission, and at the end of the day, after being in the blazing sun, being hot and tired, was ready to just go to bed. And somebody said, hey, why don't we go around and share our faith? Let's find some people in the community to talk to. So reluctantly, if I'm being honest, I went ahead and started walking through the streets of El Bon. And we were looking for opportunities to share our faith, opportunities to pray and support the people. And wouldn't you know, to my surprise, that one of the houses that we came upon, I started hearing the story of a lady named Beatrice who lives here. A blind lady who had very little. And as we came upon this house, for many of us, we would probably call it a shack. I was hearing this story from another team member about how several years ago somebody had shared some money and that this house was now her home because of that faith seed. And so when it was deemed that she would be the person to be a recipient of this fund money to build her a house, there was no food, there was no wood, I should say, no supplies to build the house. They actually had to go up into the mountains, buy a house, deconstruct it, bring it down the mountain, and reconstruct it in El Bon. And it was amazing to have this journey come full circle, to see what God had done. As we went out to share our faith, which is for many of us so uncomfortable to do, we plant these seeds not knowing what the fruit will reap. And one of the greatest spiritual blessings of my life, to have the fortunate benefit to see what God had done. You see, many of us, we share our faith, our time, our tithes, our talents, and we don't know what God is doing with that seed. It's not every time that we get to see 3 years later where it went. But I do know this, that God rewards those of us when we answer his call. And when we step outside of our comfort zone to do what he's asking us to do, that's when great things happen. So church, I encourage you As you continue on this journey of walking the walk, listen to the Spirit. When He tells you to share your faith, share it. When He tells you to share your time, your tithes, your talents, share it, because you don't know where that reward will come from. And not that we do it for ourselves, but we do it for that eternal blessing. I hope that you guys continue to look for opportunities to invest in others in all of these areas. God bless.